Hello and welcome to another edition of Rob Carson's What in the World? How are you guys? Wow, weird times we live in. Welcome to a Friday evening with me in my home studio, which I think actually looks better than Chris Cuomo's. I mean, honestly, I've seen some people on the news and they're doing their shows all over the country and all that. I think this looks pretty good, right? Pretty good. Hello, Vicky. Hello, buddy. My college classmate, John and Paul. Hello, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. Now, tonight what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to talk about, what's going on in the world with regard to this corona epidemic. Pardon me for the earpiece. I'm using these earbuds to make it look not, the big headphones that I've been normally using. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the world. What is going on in your world? What's going on in your life? Obviously, our lives have changed fundamentally. I've got my son home from college. I got my daughter home from high school. I got my wife home from work, and I am here. And today I did just a little bit of just rudimentary, let me pull this around here, rudimentary statistics with regard to the number of people in the world who have coronavirus and who have died from coronavirus. And just for my own simple statistics, I reasoned that approximately your chances of getting coronavirus are 1 in 7,500. Your chances of dying from coronavirus, 1 in 129,000. Approximately. These are approximate numbers, all right? So these are just numbers that I figured out. And today on the radio, many of my brothers and sisters, Mark Levin, Mr. Rush Limbaugh, have echoed some of the same things that I've been saying for a couple of weeks. Even my buddy Chris Plant. Because when this originally started, I said this was not the Black effing Plague. The Black Plague killed 200 million people worldwide. All right? The Spanish flu killed, 50 million people in 1918. It's not 1918. So what I want to do tonight is I want to just freaking some recording artists are doing songs that stay the F at home. Stay the F at home. And it's cute and everything. And Samuel L. Jackson last night on one of the late night shows did a reading from a book called Stay the F Home. I want to do a reading. I'm not going to do it right now, but I want to do a reading called Calm the F Down. Calm the F down. It is remarkable what has happened in this country, in our country. How many of you and me are willing to say, don't tread on me, put the Gadsden flag on their truck or their car, and have been completely willing to do what the government says and retreat to your home and give up your rights to run a business or sell a gun or whatever. I have said from the get-go that I thought this was an oversell, that this is driven by things that are not truthful. And if this is the barometer, and if this is going to happen every time something like this happens, then the whole world is effed. Okay? Hello, Chan. Hello, Dave. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have some fun. We're going to have a little bit of common sense talk here with a guy who does a show from has done his show from his office for a long time, even though Chris Cuomo and others are just learning how to do this. I've been doing this for a couple of years, and it looks pretty darn good. Headline today. Is the White House estimate of $240,000 virus death toll estimate accurate? Trump advisors and disease experts voice doubt about the terrifying projection, with one saying it could be less than 100,000. Now, the president the other day, a couple weeks ago, said that we might be open for business on Easter. He has tempered that because there's been a moving needle with regard to this virus. We don't know what it is. We've never treated it before. We don't have a vaccine for it. More and more, it is appearing to be very clear. It, of course, originated in China and may have, like I said, originally been created in a lab, or at least bred in a lab near Wuhan, China, where there are at least 3 or 4 labs to weaponize viruses and study them. And this was something that was taken from bats. And you may think that's nuts and all that, but more and more people are going, oh yeah, China really effed the world on this. Okay? China really effed the world on this. President's top advisors have expressed doubts about the accuracy of the White House forecast U.S. death toll of 240,000 from coronavirus. Columbia University's Jeffrey Shaman said it's impossible to predict. Using his work, he predicts the death toll will be less than 100,000 people. I don't know anything about contagion, but I've said from the get-go, this is not the Black Plague. I never understood why in the F I can't buy toilet paper at the grocery store. I never understood why in the F that I haven't been able to go to the meat counter and get what I want. Are you out of your goddamned minds? Pardon the French, even though it's not French. I'm coughing because I have acid reflux, not because I have coronavirus. It's funny because last night I was in bed, and I was laying there, and in the middle of the night I had chills, and I'm like, well, son of a gun, I got something, right? And I'm laying there, it's like 4 a.m, and I'm shivering, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? And I wake up just in time to see my wife close the window because it was frigging cold. It was like 35 degrees, and we left the window open. See? All right. Couple of other things I want to mention. And hello, Athan, I should say, my friend. Good to see you, and James as well. Thank you for joining me. I've had 3 friends who have had coronavirus. They've been tested for coronavirus. All 3 of them have been perfectly fine. My friend Mike, he had some pre-existing conditions with regard to his heart. Mike Ferguson, we had him on the other day. He went into the hospital. They gave him chloroquine or hydrochloroquine, and he recovered from it. Okay, he's okay. Another friend of mine used to be a bigwig at ABC Radio, John McConnell. He posted on Facebook today that he is home and recovering. He and his wife are in their 60s, I believe, and they both became very sick. And they both went to the hospital, and they both were very, very ill. And they both signed their wills, and they said goodbye to each other, thinking, we don't know how this is going to end. And the doctor said to my friend John that he would have to be intubated. And he said, I've heard bad things about intubation. You usually don't fare well when you've been intubated, which is an assisted breathing method. And so he said, you know what? Let's just try this hydrochloroquine thing. And let's see how it works out. Well, it turns out he didn't have to be intubated after all, and he's at home recovering today. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. President of the United States, following his own gut, like I have. And I saw this a couple weeks ago with clinicians in Australia saying that this anti-malarial chloroquine or hydrochloroquine combined with Zithro, which is an antibiotic, has been doing wonderful things. And now I know that it's helped 3 of my friends who've had this. Okay? All right? So, when we wake up from this, I hope that people will be held accountable for the fear that they've inspired. I hope that China will be held responsible financially for the hell that they have wrought on the world health-wise and economy-wise. And you know what, honestly? China, suck it. China as a country, suck it. You are a bunch of communist third world throwbacks. You have managed to compete in the first world by stealing intellectual property from around the world and enslaving your people. F China, F China. That's what I got to say about China. China can suck it. I hope that we move away from the teat that has been China for so many decades, because we don't have to rely on China anymore. By the way, have you seen the price of gas lately? Drove by Sam's Club today, $1.54 a gallon. Filled up today at another place, $1.65, I think. It's nice. I mean, it's nice, right? It's nice to be the world's largest producer of fossil fuels. It's helped. It's helped. University of Pittsburgh scientists believe they have found a potential coronavirus vaccine. They unleashed or announced their findings yesterday, Thursday, and they say that it is a small fingertip-sized patch. When tested on mice, the vaccine produced enough antibodies believed to be successful to counteract the virus. Okay. Apparently, it's worked very well. These two viruses, which are closely related to SARS-CoV-2, teach us that a particular protein. Now, I'm not going to say that. They put a thing on your skin. It pokes a bunch of little holes in it, and it shows that apparently it works. There you go. I did it. Yeah. Here's another thing. And hello, Robin and Chris. Welcome to the show. Robin and Chris Walsh. Glad to have you joining me tonight. Everything's closed down. I can't get a haircut. Okay? My dog couldn't get a haircut. I can't get a haircut. I can't go into a damned restaurant. I can't support my friends who own restaurants. My friends who own restaurants and movie theaters and just about every small business in America have been absolutely screwed because they've been told they need to shut down, and it's heresy. It's bullshit. They closed down the schools in Kansas. I have heard that they might consider opening schools for summer, and by God in heaven, they should. Enjoy your break right now, kids, because your butts are going back to school for the summer, and you're going to be back in school until December, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. I can't get my hair cut. Okay, I can't go into a variety of... I can't go sit down and have my coffee in a McDonald's because everybody's going to die. Are you out of your gosh damned mind? I've said this from the get-go, and I will continue it, and I will... you know what? Screw that. And I will say this until the ends of the earth. We have overreacted to this. We have overdone things. We have overreacted to this. And every major talk show in the country, and this is the reason why I need to have a syndicated talk show, is because Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh and Chris Plant and all of these people, and I've been feeding stuff directly to my friends in syndicated media saying, guys, come on. This is not the Black Plague. This is not the Spanish flu. None of this is real. None of this is real. It's all been created. And honestly, I don't know. And I've said from the get-go, there's something askew about this. There's something about this that isn't right. And the glorious thing is I have been outside of the broadcast industry, and I've had to prove my salt. The hair looks great. I've had to prove my salt outside of the broadcast industry by working in the private sector, selling cars. Do I like selling cars? It's okay. Do I like being a talk show host? Oh, hell yeah. This is what I do. But I have had more and more of my friends say, Rob, you're right about this. Okay. Professor Hendrik Streeck has said that COVID-19 might not spread as easily as thought. He is a researcher to head the small village of Heinsberg next to the Dutch border in Germany. And he says basically there have been no proven infections while shopping or at hairdressers. Okay? Now, I had one of my friends today say basically I was out of my mind for suggesting that you might not die of COVID-19 because you get your hair done. I have had friends decide that they don't want to be my friends anymore. I have had friends who have been my friends for nearly 20 years tell me that they don't want to be my friends anymore because I relented with regard to letting the federal government shut down everything in our country. Letting the federal government and the president of the United States shut down everything in our country, which we have never seen in our history. I lost friends because of that. And Joni, don't start this flu vaccine shit with me, okay? I ain't got time for vaccine people. And if you're going to be doing the old vax and vax is terrible and vax will kill you, I don't have time for that stuff. And I hope that's not what this is all. Connect the flu vaccine and whatever. What really? I don't know. Brian, thanks for joining me. Vaccines work. They always have. They always do. And don't give me that. If you're an anti-vaxxer, go away. I don't have time for it. The polio vaccine worked quite well. That's why none of our generation have had polio. Thank you very much. On January 31st, the day that Donald Trump said that we should shut off travel from China to the United States, the Huffington Post said, don't listen to Senator Tom Cotton about coronavirus. Senator Tom Cotton, a Republican of Arkansas, has been on an absolute tear about coronavirus, calling for all Americans in China to get out now, demanding the U.S. implement an extensive travel ban, targeting China, proposing a Manhattan Project-level effort to create a vaccine, a reference to the undertaking that produced the atom bomb during World War II. While this was happening, the Democrats were impeaching Donald Trump, even though Donald Trump, during his last State of the Union address, mentioned this. And Nancy Pelosi tore up his speech. Okay? Cotton also suggested the coronavirus could have come from a Chinese super laboratory that works with the world's most deadly pathogens, boosting a debunked fringe theory circulating among tabloids and conservative media outlets. The conspiracy has gained attention on social media and appeared in a dubious article on the right-wing site, The Washington Times. It's a newspaper, and it's a great newspaper, by the way, whose single-name source for the claim was a former Israeli military official suggesting the virus could be linked to a biowarfare program. I believe. Yeah, Joni, goodbye. Bye, Joni. I don't have time for anti-vaccine crap. See you later. Goodbye. Health experts have rejected the suggestion that the virus is a result of some sort of a bioweapon or other manufactured cause, calling it unfounded and nonsensical. No, they haven't. They haven't. A laboratory is located in Wuhan, but it's a city of over 11 million, and no proof is surfaced that the lab has any connection to the outbreak. No, bullcrap. Bullcrap. China has actually been fairly quick to address the virus and to alert international officials to the problem. This is according to the Huffington Post, and now we know they lied about everything. They have done everything that you could hope for and is current day standard practice that would be done in any other country. This according to Dr. Michael Mina, assistant professor of epidemiology and immunology at Harvard University. And you, sir, are high. China also, I don't know if you knew this, killed tens of millions of its own people during the Great Revolution. Didn't know if you knew that. They also crushed to death thousands of protesters at Tiananmen Square in 1989. I remember this. I was right out of college. And they crushed to death thousands of protesters. This is before cell phones were available. And then they washed their bodies into the sewers. Okay, so not a big fan of China and Chinese communism. Hydroxychloroquine rated the most effective therapy by doctors for coronavirus, according to a new global survey. The President of the United States said, hey, I think this might work. I have 3 friends now who say that it does and has. The drug known for treating malaria, used by U.S. doctors mostly for high-risk COVID-19 patients, apparently, according to an international poll of 6,000 doctors released Thursday, found that the anti-malarial drug was the most highly rated treatment for the novel virus. Isn't that crazy? Hello, Robert, and hello, Henry. Please, if you would, guys, do me a favor, just share it with other people, because you know what? Here's the deal. I'm not Chris Cuomo. I'm not Laura Ingraham. I'm just a guy in his home with a green screen behind me. I'm not hovering above the United States Capitol. It's just me here in my home in the Kansas City area. Azithromycin, known by the brand name Zithromax or Z-Pak, was rated the second most effective therapy at 32%, followed by nothing. Analgesics, anti-HIV drugs, and cough medicine. All of these things have been effective, but hydroxychloroquine has been the most effective according to an international study. An international study. CNN is sucking wind. Anti-Trump network fails to get one show to crack the top 20 in first quarter ratings. You know why? Because they lie. They lie about everything, and they put politics above the safety of the American people. They wanted to get rid of Donald Trump's daily briefings because they said they were untrue, even though, well, I don't know. I just pretty much said that he was right about hydroxychloroquine, and he's been right about a lot of things, and he's doing a kick-ass job. Sorry, he is. Fox News placed 8 shows in the top 10 and 14 in the top 20. MSNBC filled the other slots. CNN way behind the competition. Jake Tapper's Basement rated the lead, still only managed to attract 1.387 billion viewers. This is what happens when you abuse the First Amendment. We have a glorious thing called the First Amendment, and it's wonderful. You can say, you know, anything with the exception of some hate speech and panic speech, like yelling fire in a theater. And if you're on Facebook, anything conservative, because I've been shadow banned on my other site. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, Twitter. Thank you, YouTube. Hi, Joe. Hi, Robert. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Henry. How are you guys doing? Nearly a third of Americans say they've already lost wages. 16% have been fired or furloughed, and almost half of all millennials fear they'll lose their jobs as coronavirus threatens to tip the world into recession. This hurts. My sister has been furloughed. She works as a manager at JCPenney in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. She's afraid that they will never recover. They will never recover. I have friends in the restaurant business who say the same thing. Jasper Mirabli at Jasper's in Kansas City. Chris Marks at Three Little Pigs Barbecue. Rob McGee at Q39, a fantastic fledgling operation that is hurting. Stretch Ruminer of Grinders. I could go on and on. They're suffering. And it's needless. It's needless. Because their restaurants are not harbingers for this virus. They never have been. You can go into Grinders right now if it was open and you could order a sandwich or a pizza and you'd be freaking fine. I'm going to be proven right. Okay? Do you hear that, Michael, my friend, my former friend? Because I disagreed with you and I said that the federal government should shut things down. And by the way, the federal government has no authority to do so. The president has no authority to do so, Michael. The president has no authority to shut down the United States of America, and it doesn't happen here. It doesn't happen in the United States of America. It doesn't happen here. And if it does, we are no longer the United States of America. We are no longer the beacon of freedom throughout the world. If the president were able to shut down everything, we are freaking Venezuela. Hello, Mark. Hello, Jared. 10 million Americans are now jobless. Before the virus hit, unemployment in the U.S. was at its lowest in 60 years, and the economy was stronger than it had ever been, and yet there are Democrats who are cheering this on. The Democrat Party is worthless at this point. What has the Democrat Party done right now? I'm asking you Democrats, what has your leadership done to convince you that everything was going to be fine? What has the leadership of the Democrat Party done other than put off the aid bill that was passed through Congress because they wanted to pork it up with a lot of things that had nothing to do with helping the American people, including, and I love the Kennedy Center, I've seen shows there, I lived in D.C., but honestly, in the midst of all this crap, what the F? Why does the Kennedy Center, after they've just finished hundreds of millions of dollars in innovation, in renovation, why do they need $25 million from us for a singular theater venue in the country that few get to go to? And then they fired their orchestra anyway. Glenn, how are you? Good to see you. Surging layoffs have led many economists to predict as many 20 million lost jobs by the end of April. Oh, I think it'll be higher. Speaking of hire, a lot of people are hiring. Walmart, Target, grocery stores, not theaters, but they are hiring. Amazon's hiring. You got to do what you got to do, you know. I'm selling cars on the side. That's what I do. John, thank you for joining me tonight. I do appreciate it. And I hope you'll share this with other people because honestly, and I, you know, listen, I'm a small voice. Okay. I'm a small voice. I'm just a guy. I'm trying to grab a foothold with regard to podcasting nationally. I have no help. I have no financial backing. And I've got people literally echoing a week later, like Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh, what I said 3 weeks ago. A couple nights ago on Laura Ingram's show, Dr. Stephen Smith said that hydroxychloroquine is a game changer with regard to the battle against coronavirus. Why? Because he has been treating a lot of people with coronavirus and basically saying that he's not seen a single patient under the age of 70 who was not pre-diabetic or obese who's had this virus. Here is Dr. Stephen Smith.
On the Ingram angle, Dr. Smith's one of the most preeminent infectious disease specialists in the United States. His father was a legend. But Dr. Smith, you pointed out that not a single patient of yours, COVID patient, that has been on the hydroxy regimen has had to be intubated. For people who don't know what intubated means, please explain quickly.
Let me explain this. A friend of mine named John McConnell posted on social media, and I contacted him today. He had tested positive for coronavirus. He was in the later stages of it when he and his wife went to the hospital. He was told that he would need to be intubated, meaning he would need assistance breathing. Once you reach intubation, your chances of survival go down dramatically. He had heard that hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine with Zithro would help him. He got that treatment and did not need to be intubated, and he and his wife are home recovering now.
Yeah, so intubated means you're in respiratory failure and you have to be put on a ventilator. Intubation means actually putting the tube down into your trachea and then you're placed on a ventilator for support, respiratory support. We've had, I mentioned the 20 intubations, over most all of them occurred in the first 2 days. More importantly, no person has received 5 days or more of the hydroxychloroquine and Zithro combination has been intubated. The chance of that occurring by chance, according to my sons Leon and Hunter, who did some stats for me, are 0.000 something. It's ridiculously low depending on how you look at it. Yeah. It's ridiculously low no matter how you look at it. We worry about selection bias in this situation, but I cannot think of a reason why, if all else is equal, why people that have received 5 days or more, or even 4 days or more, of this hydroxychloroquine Zithro regimen wouldn't get intubated. In other words, if the regimen didn't work, why would it just be the people that didn't get nearly complete the regimen? Most of the people were in the first 2 days.
Right, Dr. Smith, we're going to have you back.
Okay, so basically he's saying that if you do hydroxychloroquine and Zithro, They're worried you're going to have to be intubated. And you may recall, and hello, Candy, welcome to the show. New York is begging, the New York governor, begging for breathing apparatus. Okay? They are begging for them. And until now, they don't need them. They don't need them. Because people who are going to be intubated have gotten chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine and Zithro and then don't need it. Like my friend John didn't need it. You don't need a respirator. Some people do. I get it. Calm the F down. Stay the F home and calm the F down. Nancy Pelosi, who has shown that she is, as my father used to say, worthless as tits on a boar, who has done nothing. The Democrat Party has done nothing to solve this crisis. All they have done is bitch and complain about the president's response. When the president shut down the travel from China to the United States on January 31st, they called him a xenophobe. They have done nothing. They have proved their absolute worthlessness to the country. I'm asking you as Democrats, what has a Democrat leader done other than use this as some sort of way to advance a leftist agenda or spread panic? Where are the voices from the Democrat Party, like Franklin Delano Roosevelt, saying the only thing we have to fear is fear itself? That doesn't exist today. And if I were a Democrat, I'd be flummoxed. I'd be pissed off. But honestly, if you're just a Kool-Aid drinker, then it won't make a difference at all. Here is Nancy Pelosi when asked about how the fact that Donald Trump on January 31st was screaming, shut down travel from China. Tom Cotton was saying weeks before, we've got to shut down trade with China, travel with China. We literally have to create some sort of commission to create a vaccine to save the world. Nobody listened. Nancy Pelosi's only priority on January the 31st was impeaching the president, she claims she knew about the coronavirus threat, but defends prioritizing impeachment. Watch her, because I think she's having like a stroke or something here.
Do you think it's fair for Mitch McConnell to suggest that impeachment slowed down the federal response?
No. Oh, that's so sad.
No, you are sad, and I would love to see you without your hair dyed.
Handle their jobs, I guess, because...
and just give her a glass of water, because her mouth is... I don't think she makes saliva anymore.
What are they saying? We ignored it? It was self-evident. Most people knew about it, and certainly those of responsibility.
Then why weren't you worried about it? You are the Speaker of the House. You are in a position of responsibility. Why didn't you do anything about it?
So I say of that, either you can't handle your job, but don't blame impeachment.
What a wretched, awful woman.
On that. Just blame it on the fact that you didn't want to face the reality. And that denial and that delay cost lives.
Why were you focused on impeachment rather than that? You are in a position of authority. You are third in line to the presidency. Why didn't you focus on that? Why did you focus on impeachment? Give me a break. By the way, Russia sent 60 tons of medical supplies to the United States. Vladimir Putin offered to assist during a phone call with the president. Critics are saying it is a propaganda gift from the Kremlin. There you go. So you got all sorts of supplies, face masks, whatnot, sent from Russia. 60 tons of medical supplies. Russia has reported 2,300 cases of coronavirus, 17 deaths. You know why? Because it's so freaking cold over there. This, my friends, is Russian collusion. Clearly. Hello, Tim. How you doing, buddy? Trump said well, no, he didn't say that, actually. Administration officials said President Putin offered President Trump aid during their conversation Monday as an act of goodwill. Russia delivered a plane load of equipment and supplies to JFK. Likewise, the United States is sending equipment and supplies to many other countries and will continue to do so. Isn't it kind of nice? Since we help everybody out, maybe somebody say, we can help you out a little bit. How about that? 60 tons of ventilators, masks, respirators, and protective equipment. So there you go. Thank you. Russian collusion. Chris Cuomo, he's got coronavirus. He's talking to me. He calls it the beast. And I have no doubt that it sucks. I remember having H1N1 during 2010, and I remember having bubbles in my lungs. I could hear the bubbles in my lungs from pneumonia, and it's scary as hell. Here's Chris Cuomo talking about the terrifying symptoms and the nightmares he's having.
Who are dealing with the same that I am and 10 times worse, especially after what I learned last night. This virus came at me. I've never seen anything like it, okay? So, yeah, I've had a fever. You've had a fever. This bigger. But 102, 103 plus that wouldn't quit. And it was like somebody was beating me like a piñata. And I was shivering so much that...
Let's not talk about our fantasies now.
Sanjay's right. I chipped my tooth.
Beating him like a piñata.
These are not cheap, okay? And they call them the rigors, like riggers, R-I-G-O-R-S, but rigors. So the sun comes up. I'm awake. I was up all night. It was I'm telling you, I was hallucinating. My dad was talking to me. I was seeing people from college, people I haven't seen in forever. It was freaky what I lived through last night. And it may happen again tonight. Doctor says it may happen like 5-8 times. I get it now. And if you match that with chest constriction and people can't breathe, I totally get why we're losing so many people and why.
Okay. So when I was 31 years old, I had strep throat. And I will never forget, I was 31 years old, very healthy man, bench pressing 350 pounds, kicking butt, the whole deal. And I had strep throat, and I had 103 plus degree temperature. And I remember that night I was hallucinating. I didn't see like dead relatives, but I did see tumbleweeds going over the end of the bed. I remember it quite clearly, actually. And the next morning I woke up and I had pain in my chest and my arm. And I went, well, this is weird. And so I called the emergency room where I was the day before. And I said, what's going on? And they said, you're having a heart attack. Call the hospital. Call 911. And I did. And it turns out I did. I had a heart attack. 31 years old. Okay. It was earth-shattering. It was scary. High fevers will do that. But I've been through several things, guys. I've been through that, strep. I've been through H1N1. Fortunately, I haven't had this. I don't want this. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not going to let this destroy my life, and I'm not going to let it destroy our country and our economy. Will not do it. Eric Garcetti, I should say, the mayor of L.A., says that we'd better get ready to take on a new look of wearing fashionable face masks every day.
So I repeat, please do not get medical grade or surgical masks or these N95 masks. We must not contribute to the shortage of these essential personal protective equipment for medical personnel and first responders. But other coverings like this, which can be made of different materials that we can wear in public, research shows...
What about all those homies in South Central who use the bandanas? You know what? Yeah, maybe it might have worked.
A bandana tucked in can have an effect of slowing down droplet spread. These face coverings...
Just pull a pair of underwear over your head, or maybe like in Raising Arizona, just a pair of pantyhose. Do people wear pantyhose anymore? I don't think so.
Only effective...
Tights, maybe tights over your head.
Together, of course, with safe...
Hello, Jeremy. Hello, Michael.
Physical distancing. And we're going to have to get used to, seeing each other like this. This... Excuse me.
Wow, awkward.
This will
Awkward!
be the look. So let me lead as mayor.
Wow.
Let people know this is how we're going to be seeing each other.
You look kind of like an idiot, too, by the way. Yeah. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, not going to do that. Sorry. Not going to do it. Because you know why? Because your chances of getting the coronavirus from somebody who's 6 feet away from you not wearing a mask is nil. It's horse crap. There, I said it. Not tempting fate. Just using common effing sense. How about just some common effing sense? Okay? Here's Gavin Newsom, the governor of the state of California, actually saying some positives about the press.
At times of crisis, we need to raise above the partisanship, and I've extended always an open hand, not a closed fist in those circumstances, and this is no different. But let me just be candid with you. I'd be lying to you to say that he hasn't been responsive to our needs. He has. And so as a...
What? I thought he missed everything. I thought he wanted people to die.
Question, as a sort of an offer of objectivity, I have to acknowledge that publicly. And the fact is, every time I've called the president, he's quickly gotten on the line.
Wait. I thought that if he disagreed with you philosophically, that he was going to hold supplies back from your state.
When we asked to get...
That's not what I'm hearing here, kids.
Support for that Mercy ship.
Hello, Carolyn. How are you in Cincinnati?
In Southern California, he was able to direct that in real time. We got 2,000 of these field medical sites that are up, almost all operational now in the state because of his support.
Wow, Jake Tapper looks like absolute crap. I mean, when you don't have studio lighting and makeup, wow, he looks worse than I do.
Those are the facts. We always want more.
Real quick, look at Jake Tapper.
I could criticize this or that. At the end of the day, we're just trying to focus.
And now look at me. You see any bags under the eyes? Huh? Not too bad, right? I know you ladies are like, Rob Carson's a pretty hot guy for his early 50s. Okay. Stop ogling. I need to focus on the show here, ladies. Carolyn, settle down, all right? Because I know I look pretty hot. Don Geronimo, shut the hell up. How you doing, brother? My broadcast brother. Oh, this is very big of China. A city in China has banned residents from eating dog and cat meat. And that's great. With a groundbreaking new law in the wake of the novel coronavirus pandemic. So this town in China apparently has decided to drag itself kicking and screaming into the 21st century. Legislation was yesterday passed by lawmakers in Shenzhen, a city of around 13 million people, and will take effect on May the 1st, according to government. Notice, if you're going to get a hot dog, you might want to go now. Or you're going to get some P word. One charity group hailed the message as a historic decision, which marked a watershed moment in the animal protection in China, the annual Yulin Dog Meat Festival, which, I mean, who hasn't been to that? It's a glorious time. It's one of the most controversial food festivals in China and sees thousands of dogs cruelly killed, skinned, and cooked with blowtorches before being eaten by the locals. Apart from dogs, the regulations bar snake, frog, and turtle meat from the dinner table. I've had a rattlesnake. It's pretty good, actually. I've had frog legs. Not so crazy. A little gamey, a little weird. Turtle? Sure, why not? Bats? Not so much. News come as China banned all trade and consumption of wild animals, a practice believed responsible for the country's deadly virus pandemic. Hello, Carol. How are you, my dear? Police are arresting looters in California and South Carolina as cops crack down on people breaking shelter-in-place orders across the U.S. and taking advantage of this. This is where you kind of need maybe just a little bit of martial law, just enough to kick the crap out of them. Not necessarily shoot them or anything, but just beat the snot out of them.
2 at 6, many businesses throughout the Central Coast not considered essential have closed. That has left some vulnerable to burglaries. Santa Cruz police have arrested 5 people. They were charged with burglary, but in our current state of emergency, those charges are enhanced to looting. Police are stepping up patrols in business areas to make sure merchants don't become victims during the pandemic.
It's a minimum mandatory of 180 days. But the courts can still get out of that through various means. But it's still a serious charge. We're looking at all the potential charges we can have for someone who's taking advantage of other people during this time of a crisis.
Santa Cruz police launched a burglary suppression unit patrolling businesses that could be targeted.
Okay, this is happening. It's happening. There's a story about a guy, an employee in Maryland, who slept overnight in the business. They got broken into. He had a gun. He confronted the people who were perpetrating the burglary, and he's in jail. Do you have your boomstick? I've got my boomstick. Do you? A lot of people are buying firearms. I'm fortunate because I have a father-in-law who gave me several. So we are quite well armed here in the Carson household. Thank you very much. Mike Lindell is the creator of My Pillow. I've endorsed My Pillows on the air. I love the pillow. I love the friggin' pillow. And I'm just not meaning to make this into an endorsement, but by God, it's the best damn pillow ever. It is great. It holds its shape. I've had the memory foam pillows. Come on. No. With the My Pillow, you can... But anyway, I love the pillows. He made the mistake of suggesting that people pray and maybe read the Bible during their time at home and received a lot of heat about it. Here he is firing back with Lou Dobbs on Fox Business News.
I personally can't help but feel these daily sessions are bad for the country, even dangerous from a public health perspective. It seems crazy to me that everyone's still taking them when you got the My Pillow guy getting up there talking about reading the Bible.
Wow. The pillow guy reading the Bible.
I'll tell you what, I heard Jim McCoska attack me too, and he was 10 feet from me in the Rose Garden. This is just evil, Lou. This is evil.
Wow.
I was talking to the president. I said, Mr. President, you doing these press conferences, I said, I've had friends of mine that are on the left. And here I showed him one of my texts. It says, Mike, I'm not a big fan of President Trump, but God bless him. He is doing an amazing job. I think he's turning me. These are the real people that are seeing now that this president has done the best man in charge for such a time as this. It's just those newscasters, those journalists and we know who they are. And I'm going to say it, CNN, what they did to me, I'm sorry. I put out a message of hope to the country that God had given us grace on November 8, 2016, for such a time where a nation had turned his back on God. And right now, we're part of this big revival. We can sit at home, we can go there, get back in the Word with our Bible, spend time with our...
Okay, thank you, Mike. I do appreciate that. And listen, I'm not a big... I don't like to prognosticate too much. I don't like to preach. All right, I have my own beliefs. I appreciate what Mike did, and it didn't offend me. It might even cause me to get another My Pillow. He has a right to his opinion, and he was invited because a bunch of business leaders have stepped forward to help out the country, to basically take what they do, turn it upside down, and make something to help the rest of the country. The same thing happened in World War II, kids. Rosie the Riveter is now making face masks. Bob, thanks for joining me. Do appreciate it. Allie Wentworth, who I love, by the way. She is the wife of George Stephanopoulos, and I think she's just fun as hell. I'd like to hang out with Allie. I don't know what her politics are, but I freaking dig her. I think she's cool as hell. She apparently has survived coronavirus. Here she is talking about her experience. And again, Allie, I love ya. I love ya. She's going to be okay, but here's what she went through.
I was walking my dog, Cooper, and I just felt very, very winded. And I assumed, of course, it was because I never work out and I'm out of shape, but it was too heavy for that.
Yeah, but you know what? You're still okay with me because I freaking love you, Allie Wentworth.
And I came home, wasn't feeling great, and it wasn't until the fever started that I realized this can't be a common summer cold. I went and got tested, and between the time I got tested, which was 3 days ago, and now I've had high fevers, sort of 101, 103.
Yep.
I finished watching Netflix. Achy joints is a big thing. It feels like a really, really horrible flu. And, I'm still in it now, but I can tell you the things that help. Tylenol, chicken soup. I took some hot baths when I had chills. And I have 2 dogs that sleep on my bed with me.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Allie Whitworth. Do appreciate it. But she's okay. Said it was a really bad flu. And I've had 2 very bad, and I mentioned earlier, I had a strep throat. It was terrible. I was hallucinating. I had 103.7 degree temperature. I went to the hospital. I had a freaking heart attack. Then I had COVID, the N1H1 in 2010. Very sick. I had pneumonia. Made it through it. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. All right. Sean Lennon, the son of John Lennon, imagine there's no heaven. And Yoko Ono slamming the news media for its coverage of the coronavirus pandemic. Really? I thought he'd be totally left of center. Saying they're spreading Chinese communist propaganda and engaging in double standards. And by the way, China has effed the world. China really, really screwed up. China really needs to pay for it. They really need to pay for it. China should be an island. We don't even pay attention to China. We need to wean ourselves off of China. F China. I'm not saying the Chinese people. I'm saying the government. F China. The rocker appeared to be referring to numerous mainstream media reports claiming that the U.S. has surpassed all countries in terms of COVID-19 diagnoses, but those reports, including those from the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, rely on Beijing's questionable claim that China has only seen 82,000 cases. Okay? This is Sean Lennon, son of John Lennon. Imagine there's no heaven. Been listening to respectable journalists quoting CCP official numbers for months without doubt or hesitation, calling it the Wuhan virus. Has only days later telling people who say it's from China or they're racist, the official media have lost their legitimacy. Okay. Why do we need U.S. intelligence to tell us what we already know? Lennon has also called out news outlets that have engaged in double standard by initially calling the illness the Wuhan virus, only to later tell people that using such a term is racist. He says it's bullcrap. Sean Lennon says that China has been screwing us over. Sean Lennon is saying that China has been lying. Sean Lennon, the son of John Lennon. Imagine there's... Okay, you get it. Hi, Joe. Why have so many people died in Italy? According to Professor Walter Ricciardi, scientific advisor to Italy's Minister of Health, the country's mortality rate is higher due to demographics. The nation has the second oldest population worldwide. Professor Ricciardi added that Italy's death rate may also appear high because of how doctors record fatalities. The way in which we code deaths in our country is very generous in the sense that all people who die in hospitals with the coronavirus are deemed to be dying of the coronavirus, and it's not the case. Some people die of heart attacks, and they might test positive for coronavirus during their autopsy. Hello, Chad. On reevaluation by the National Institute of Health, only 12% of death certificates have shown a direct casualty from coronavirus, while 88% of patients who have died at least had at one premorbidity, many, 2, or 3. Where did you hear that, kids? On my show a week ago. Yeah. Let's do some more inspirational stuff. How about this is how America responds to stuff. And I've been in broadcasting long enough. I've seen everything from Hurricane Andrew to 9/11 to on and on and on and on. America always comes through because America kicks ass. And because we know that we are the greatest engine for economic and individual freedom in the history of mankind. And most of us haven't forgotten that. Convoy of ambulances with Ohio and Michigan license plates seen headed toward New York earlier this week. Here's the video. Ambulances had tags from Ohio and Michigan in the back window. Video was filmed about the same time Bill de Blasio announced that the Federal Emergency Management Agency was sending 250 ambulances and 500 EMTs and paramedics to New York City.
Thank you, whoever this is. Hit the brakes.
Hell yeah.
Another Ohio.
Thank you.
FEMA. They're part of FEMA.
Okay.
God bless you guys. Do appreciate it. Do appreciate it. I've got a couple of things I want you to stick around for that I think you're going to appreciate. Just an overall appreciation. I remember after 9/11, we finally started appreciating first responders. And now even more, but we're appreciating doctors and nurses and people who are. Imagine this, guys. You're going into a ward full of people with a virus you've never heard of before. And you're leaving family behind, and you're going to fight the fight. It's remarkable. And they regardless of how this turns out, they don't know right now. As far as they know, they could catch it and die like that. I've also got a funny song I want to play here before we're done. All right. Let's do the Salute to Heroes. Firefighters flocking to hospitals across New York, including Elmhurst in Queens, the epicenter of the epicenter. A variety of different places, New York Presbyterian, among others. Here is what firefighters and others are doing to celebrate those who are going in to fight the fight every day in New York's and America's hospitals. Come on, baby. Thank you, firefighters. Yes! Love this. God bless it. This is from New York Presbyterian Hospital. Amen. Amen. God bless you guys. God bless my friend Sam Cangelosi, who goes to a hospital every single day. Anybody who's fighting this fight. Thank you. Thank you. So apparently now America has a love affair with Dr. Anthony Fauci. Apparently Anthony Fauci bobbleheads, shirts, and socks are going on sale. And there's a petition launched to make the immunologist, 79 years old, People's Sexiest Man of the Year. Stick your needle here, doctor. Fans hailing him as a hero for trying to flatten the curve. Anybody other than me keep hearing the Dukes of Hazzard theme song? Straightening them heels, flatten them curves. Wasn't that from, anyway, there are the socks. There's a bobblehead, and there's the candle, votive candle. Not crazy about that. I'm not ready to replace Jesus Christ or the Virgin Mary with Dr. Fauci, but, by God, he's a pretty cool dude, and I'm pretty glad to have him working with the Prez. Before I go, and I know you don't want me to go. I don't blame you. But I do appreciate you joining me tonight. I do appreciate you watching and also checking out the YouTube channel. Because I've been doing this a lot. Just go to YouTube, Rob Carson Show, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I really would. But there's this guy. He was a contestant, Wichita, Kansas, where he's from, Chris Mann. And he's done another song. He did, what was it the other day? My Corona, which is funny. And this is another version. And the thing is that I've been writing song parodies for decades for everybody from Rush Limbaugh to Bob Rivers to Don Imus. And this guy's funny. And the positive about it, he's also got a great voice. He had performed on The Voice, apparently. And this is his version of Adele's Hello with a coronavirus quarantine take.
Hello, it's me. I'm in California dreaming about going out to eat just a burger with cheese.
Come on.
Or a shaken margarita, baby back ribs from Chili's. Hello, can you hear me?
Come on now.
I am shouting out to neighbors who I used to like to see when we were outside and free. Is there something else to watch besides the news and Finding Dory, the social distance?
Very nice. Very nice. Checking out Chris Mann, M-A-N-N on well, everywhere. Just look it up. It's funny. It's funny. Before I go, I want to say what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful to be healthy. I'm thankful to have a job. I'm thankful to be able to do this. I'm thankful for you watching. And I'm thankful for the last few weeks in my life. My son is home from college, from KU. My daughter is home from high school. And the last week or so, every night that it's been nice out, we've played cornhole, we played bocce, we played catch. These are kids who are 20 years old and 14, almost 15 years old. We didn't need TV. We didn't need Netflix. We didn't need that tiger show. What the hell? I ain't going to watch that thing, man. There's a guy getting fed to tigers. I ain't got time for that crap. Yeah, I'm going to watch it. But my family has been outside. I'm thankful for that. I'm really thankful for that. When your kid is 14, 15, 20 years old and they say, can we go out and play catch? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, what a glorious gift. Peter, thanks for joining me, man. I hope you're doing well, my friend. It is time for me to go. I greatly appreciate you joining me tonight. I hope that you will share with others. And remember, we're going to get through this. We are going to get through this, and we are going to wake up very soon, and somebody's going to go, really? Really? What were we thinking? I'm just going to stick by that. So stay safe, stay clean, all that, whatever. God bless you. And I'll see you soon. Bye.